Let's go overseas now. Gaza's health ministry says patients, staff, and displaced people have left Al-Shifa hospital days after it was stormed by Israeli troops. Health officials say they received an evacuation order from the military this morning, while the military says it had offered safe passage to those hoping to leave. It's unclear how many people remain at the hospital. Israel has long accused Hamas of operating command centers near civilian infrastructure like hospitals. And state media in Egypt is reporting 3 fuel trucks have been allowed to cross into Gaza through the Rafah border crossing. Footage showing truck crossing through the gates with approximately 130,000 liters of diesel fuel for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. The agency has said that without fuel, it would soon have to cease relief operations. Fatima Shideh, manager of the humanitarian unit at Oxfam Canada, says Israel's decision to allow fuel into Gaza is not enough to address the humanitarian crisis in the region.
We're seeing that only 2% of food that people in Gaza need has been let in. Water, only 7% of water from what was kind of pre-siege is available in Gaza. And that means, if we look at it, that people in Gaza right now only have 1 to 3%. 1 to 3 liters of water, and that's absolutely nothing. Like, if the World Health Organization has said for basic consumption, it should be 50 to 100 liters. So at this point, starvation, dehydration, malnutrition, and disease is a reality. It's no longer a risk anymore.
And representatives from the World Health Organization are warning that Gaza's health system is on the verge of breaking down.
We know that the health system is actually on its knees, and that currently 65%, that is 47 of the 72 primary care facilities, are not functioning. And the ones which are functioning are partly functioning, barely functioning. They say more than 70%, almost 75% of the hospitals are currently not functioning. 25 out of the 36.
The WHO says that active ground operations in Gaza City and near the hospitals, along with the lack of fuel, have halted the movement of rescue teams and ambulances in many areas. The agency says, as a result, it is extremely concerned about the spread of diseases as the rainy season and winter arrive. And the Israeli military says it's carried out an airstrike on a hideout for militants in a refugee camp in the West Bank. It says the alleged hideout was being used by individuals who plan to carry out imminent attacks on Israeli civilians and military targets. The Palestinian Red Crescent Ambulance Service says at least 5 people were killed in the strike. And family members of the hostages being held by Hamas are continuing their march towards Jerusalem as they call for more to be done to bring their loved ones home.
We are here today with many families walking up to Jerusalem to keep the awareness of the hostage issue as the top priority for the government of Israel.
We gathered here from all across this nation to support the kidnapped families and to send a direct message to our government and every government that considers itself liberal and care about life. These hostages must be let free.
1,000 demonstrators are in the last leg of their trek after they set out from Tel Aviv 5 days ago. They plan to rally outside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's house. The demonstrators have urged the government to consider a ceasefire or prisoner swap in return for the hostages, but both ideas have been rejected. And Canadian-Israeli peace activist Vivian Sil has been laid to rest in Israel. Friends and family gathered to bury Sil beside her late husband. The 74-year-old was murdered in her kibbutz during Hamas's attack on October the 7th. It was first believed that Sil was taken hostage, but her family found out on Monday she died during the attack. 8 people with ties to Canada have been killed since the war began. 1 Canadian remains missing.